Welcome to the new era of Wealth Building Podcast, formerly the MLMSuccess.com podcast. This show will reveal a new era of team building that has been created by smart contracts on the blockchain and technology that wasn't even available a couple of years ago, and most still don't know exist or understand today. We share with you real success stories from real people that are happening right now today. While traditional network marketing companies have fallen into a state of dissipation and delusion, what Mr. Calvert calls a social club, there is one company and organization whose members are progressing and growing their incomes weekly. This organization is led by the host of this podcast, Dale Calvert. Dale has always said that real product in network marketing is people. Dale has always taught, if you build people, people will build the business. We believe network marketing is the #1 personal development program on the planet, with a compensation plan attached. When you combine wisdom of the ages success principles, proven personal development systems, and a new era opportunity, you have the formula for life-altering success stories. And that is what we share with you in this podcast. So here is your host, who has a goal to develop 500 six-figure earners and 10 millionaires on his team over the next few years. A small-town guy that figured out early in his career that the real product in network marketing is people. And the magic in Zig's quote, "You can have anything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want." Dale Calvert.
Welcome. My name is Dale Calvert. I've been involved in the network marketing industry for over 40 years. I started out as a frustrated distributor who wanted to quit every single day in the beginning. But after 5 years of dedicated work, I was able to leave my job at IBM in Lexington, Kentucky and go full-time. I've never had a paycheck from a company since that day. I eventually retired from building teams the first time at age 39 after earning over $10 million my last 5 years in the profession because I wanted to pursue other business interests. I'm originally from Kentucky. I understand how high-performance people operate. I understand how you think. It's kind of like a horse in the Kentucky Derby. I mean, there's a reason that they attach the blinders on both sides of the horse's harness close to their eyes. By doing that, the horse doesn't become distracted, start looking from side to side, and they just keep their eyes focused straight on the finish line. High performance people are the same way. The reason that someone sent you this podcast session is they've perceived you to be a high performance person, or at least someone that has the potential inside of them if they can just find the right race, and more importantly, the right racetrack, or in this case, the right opportunity. So I appreciate your focus and I appreciate your dedication, but I want to ask you a really serious question. Those rare times when you've taken the blinders off and looked a little bit from side to side, what has happened for you? I mean, really stop and think about that for a minute. Because if you're like me, in my experience, those are the times when the greatest opportunities have been revealed to me. Those are the times when you've been able to take all the knowledge that you've gained from your straight ahead, focused effort, and paradigm shifts have happened for you. And entirely new opportunities have opened up for you if you've had the courage to pivot. And I know that's true. I've had too many stories, talked to too many high-performance people. I know that's the way this works, and so do you. And I could share with you several times when that happened for me in my life. And if you are a high-performance person, a high-performance person that someone has identified you to be, you probably have a few stories you could share with me as well. My friend, this is one of those times when you need to take your blinders off. Please listen, look around you, look at what's happening, look at what's not happening, and try to really internalize and hear what I'm going to be sharing with you in this session. focus here, look around at your company and your team, and listen at least with a neutral mindset for the next few minutes. And I know that if you are in the network marketing niche, in the wellness industry, in the wellness niche within network marketing and team building, I know that you are at a crossroads right now, today. And the chances are you've got your blinders on, you don't see it, and you don't realize it. So take your blinders off, look around you for the next few minutes or so, and I promise you, I'm not going to waste your time. Hi, my name is Dale Calvert. I've been a student of network marketing trends and data and human psychology for over 40 years. I started in the network marketing industry like everybody else as a frustrated but ambitious young man that didn't have a clue what I was doing. Over the years, I've developed a proprietary franchise type training program. We've been blessed to help so many people. I'm one of about 5 people walking the planet that knows what it feels like to help over 200 people on my personal team get off the MLM hamster wheel, plug into the right team culture, the right opportunity at the right time, apply a franchise type training system, and help people go from zero to a full-time income within 18 months. Again, over 200 people on my personal team. Over the past 12 months, we've personally helped over 30 people start from scratch and develop $100,000 plus income, and it's all documented. And believe it or not, the purpose of this session is to qualify you, not to recruit you. Are you the type of person that would be a good fit for our culture, our team, and what we're doing and how we're doing it? Because we're not playing business here. We're not an MLM social club. We believe network marketing is the greatest opportunity in the history of the world to help average people with above average income break out of the 9-to-5 rat race, develop financial independence, and even become a millionaire if they decide to. I am sure if you can listen to this session with a neutral mindset, you will have some aha moments. It's going to happen for you, and possibly and hopefully a full-fledged life-altering paradigm shift. I'm recording this for all wellness distributors, leaders who understand the network marketing business, and especially the wellness niche within the network marketing business model is in a state of disruption. The entire industry, especially the wellness industry, is in a state of disruption right now, mainly because of Amazon, but there's several other factors that we're also going to be discussing. I hope that you will stop, take a breath, take your blinders off, and take a hard look at the numbers and how they are going to affect your financial future. You can put your head in the sand and say, well, we're different. It's not going to affect us, but they will. And they're going to, they probably already are affecting your financial future. This session, again, is for career-minded distributors who want to build a real business with real leaders on their team and real customers that will be here and stand the test of time. You know, Blockbuster started in Dallas, Texas in 1985, and they had a great run. In 2010, Blockbuster Corporation filed for bankruptcy. This once giant video chain had fallen from 9,000 and about 94 stores in 2004 to only 1,700 struggling corporate locations by April of 2011. So from 2010 to 2011, the bankruptcy was filed again they started way back in 85, had a great run. But the final group of corporate stores were sold off again in 2011. They only brought $320 million for 1,700 stores. And Dish Network, actually, the satellite TV company, actually bought the last group of stores. After the bankruptcy sale, there were approximately 50 independent locations that remained open for a while. a lot of these owners just couldn't accept the writing on the wall. And as of July 2023, the last Blockbuster, there's one left. It's in Bend, Oregon, and the location's become a popular tourist destination since becoming the last Blockbuster. And they basically are selling T-shirts and novelty items. The owner now considers it to be more of a hobby than a business. And that's the Blockbuster story. The consumable product wellness network marketing business model is Blockbuster. It's Blockbuster. And only a few leaders who pay close attention to the trends and the stats have even realized that yet. And it really has nothing to do with the quality of your products or honesty and integrity of your owners and corporate officers. Let me say that again. It really has nothing to do with the quality of your products or the honesty and integrity of your owners and corporate officers. The truth is, for over 50 years, network marketers have been trying to convince customers to change brands. They don't want to change brands. Miss Allen loves her multivitamin for women over 50 that she's been buying at GNC the last 7 years, and she doesn't want you, me, or anybody else to try to convince her to change brands. We've been trying to convince people to try our new high-tech nutraceuticals or other fancy names that we've come up with for our vitamins, for our nutritional products. And the truth is the market, and when I say the market, I'm talking about potential customers. The market is tired of hearing about it. They simply are burnt out, and the last thing they have time to listen to is yet another pitch from another network marketing distributor. Not to mention the fact that today you are not only competing with over 1,000 other wellness MLM product companies, but customers can pick up their products at their local health food store. When I started in the nutrition industry with the number one company, the Shackley Corporation. Back then, there was no nutritional competition. You could walk into a grocery store and you might find a bottle of one-a-day vitamins and maybe Theragram M on the shelf, but that was about it. And if you wanted to buy those products, you'd have to dust the bottle off first because they've been sitting on the shelf so long. There was no competition. The market has changed, and to not understand the evolution of the market and how it has changed is just naive. It's just naive. I mean, not only are you competing now with all the other MLM companies, but along with the health food stores, Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club, and every drugstore in the world. And if that weren't enough, competition, now you're trying to compete with Amazon Prime, and even worse, distributors from your own company dumping their products on eBay at half price. I mean, this has become a major challenge. And for what? Why do you fight this? Why do you think you have to? Why fight this? Why play in a game that cannot be won? Why fight a battle that cannot be won? And again, I just have to stop and ask you sincerely, what about pivoting to a new niche, a category creator that has no MLM competition and never will in a market? Yeah, and we're talking about the collectibles market. We're talking about sports cards, comic books, Beanie Babies, Star Wars items, Pokemon items, and the list goes on and on and on. What about shifting to a market that has no competition and never will, does not make perfect business sense? Let me ask you again. What about considering a pivot to a niche, a category creator that has no MLM competition and never will, does not make perfect business sense? Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a $450 billion industry, bigger than all the network marketing companies combined, And I'm talking about all the lotions, potions, pills, and travel companies, every company combined. The collectibles market is $450 billion, which is larger. With no competition, what about that doesn't make logical business sense? And again, I'm not trying to recruit you. I'm desperately trying to open your mind. I mean, I work with a group of high performance 6 and 7 figure earners who've all had this difficult paradigm shift. It's been difficult for all of us. But for over 50 years, wellness distributors have been trying to convince people to change brands of products or sell people that are perfectly happy with the vitamins they buy at Walmart why they should try their products. Customers are burnt out and they're tired of it. Look, a guy can show up at your door today. She can have the most unique Kirby vacuum with all the latest technology, bells and whistles. They can be a skilled professional, polite, polished, very well trained. But let's face it, the last thing a person, you or me, wants to hear about is another Kirby vacuum sales pitch. That's the last thing we want. Take your blinders off. Customers feel the same way about the nutritional wellness distributors in the market as you do and I do about Kirby vacuum salespeople. That's the truth. And it's my hope and prayer that you open your mind and really look at the numbers. The truth is, people were buying Blockbuster franchises the month before they filed bankruptcy because they didn't look at the facts. They didn't look at the market. It is my sincere hope that after you hear this session, you will make the intelligent business decision to get back with whomever shared this session with you and really do your due diligence on the Collect Direct opportunity. And I understand. I get it. The challenge for me is cognitive dissonance. And that's a term that I've recently learned. There's an article, I'll leave the link. And basically, the article says, you can never underestimate the difficulty of changing false beliefs with your facts. And I understand a lot of times people, the more facts they hear, the more they dig in on their beliefs, even though their beliefs were based maybe upon data from 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. And we tend to have this cognitive dissonance where we think somebody's talking about everybody else except us, but we're different. This is why we're different, and so on and so forth. And I understand me trying to get through to you. I am dealing with that. I understand that. See, I understand that every wellness company distributors, their natural reaction, no matter what the facts are shared, in their mind, they think everything applies to every other wellness company in the market except ours. And I hear it daily. But thankfully, I also get that real leaders in the business world, they pivot. They pivot. In fact, they're always looking around for their next pivot, for their next adventure. But most network marketers don't look. They don't look. They keep their blinders on and they deflect everything without even consideration. They don't dare catch a case of shiny object syndrome. And I understand shiny object syndrome, and I understand it is a problem in our profession. We used to call these people MLM junkies, and that's not what I'm talking about. Thankfully, there are a few network marketing leaders that approach their business like other entrepreneurs do in the real world. They look at everything and eliminate it as quickly as possible. I mean, that's how I personally operate, and I'm hoping it's the way you operate as well. I think about this, how I found Collect Direct. Dave Jordan, the owner, I had spoke for at a couple of his national conferences. And I met him then, and I knew he was into collectibles, and I was as well. My brother and I used to have a sports card and memorabilia shop in the late 90s. So we had that in common. And when he was getting ready to put this together, he called me. Well, at the time, the company we were working with had just pivoted into another vertical, and I was head over heels putting together the franchise, the training systems for our team, and the lead generation systems for our team. And I couldn't listen to anybody. And I told him, I said, Dave, I am covered up right now, but as soon as I get a break, I'll take a look. And it was 6 months down the road, but I promised him I would, and I did. And when I really took the time, I approached this like I approach everything. I'm going to look at it. I'll figure out what the red flag is real quick, why this will never duplicate, why it won't work. And I will call him back and say, Dave, I appreciate it. I may be a customer, but I'm not going to even consider trying to build a team with this because this is why. And the more I looked and the more I read and the more I understood, the more I came to realize if this is what it appears to be, this will be the last network marketing company real leaders ever joined, because there's never been anything like this ever in history. And it's like, they're saying that he's starting with approximately $2.5 billion or so in collectibles. I mean, nobody really knows for sure, but that's the guesstimate. And if that's true, and if everything I'm reading is true, and they're starting debt free, and I understand collectibles and I understand the passion of collectors, how collectors want to add to their collection. You don't have to convince them to change brands. They want to add to their collection. You don't have to convince them to buy. They want to buy. They want to add to their collection. I understood the emotional factor, psychological factor of the collectibles market, which really got me excited. And long story short, I sit down to look at this like I look at everything. I usually find the red flags quick and I move on. And that's the way real business minded people operate. It's not blinders on, deflect everything. Business people want to stay in the loop on what's happening. And anyway, I ended up flying to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I went through all the 3 warehouses. I've seen the inventory. I mean, I did my due diligence, and that's how I got started. And thankfully, there are leaders from virtually every wellness company now that are joining us every week. People that see the writing on the wall, and they value the time that they spend promoting and working with their team in a business. And they want to be spending their time where there's the true upside potential. And they sincerely care about the future of their team, of the people on their team and their success. And there's people, they've made the pivot to collect direct opportunity because they understand what they're looking at. I mean, they have a base and understanding, and they can look at the facts, and they start to understand that, hey, I've got to do my own due diligence here and really check this out because something unique and different is happening. They understand the untapped market of the collectibles, and they understand the long-term growth and income potential that will be here to feed their grandchildren. And that cannot be said about the wellness industry and their current situation. I mean, they've accepted the fact that the wellness industry and MLM is on a downward spiral and will never again be what it once was. It will never again be what it once was. And there's no emotion in numbers. All you have to do is look at what's been going on in the MLM wellness niche over the past 5 years. Take a hard look at the numbers. Thousands of startups have come and gone. Thousands. They start, they never get off the ground. And honestly, I can think of no more difficult MLM niche to try to enter than the wellness niche, regardless of the science and the story behind your product, because the market simply doesn't care. Cool. Your new Kirby has the latest bells and whistles. That's the way the market hears your science and your research. They don't care about the new Kirby. They don't care about your wellness product. Most startups really never get off the ground, and they end up going out of business or maybe merging with another fledgling company, and now you have one bigger fledgling company, and it just is what it is. Those that do get off the ground do so because they offer some sweetheart, some kind of bridge money deal to a master distributor with a large following of people. Unfortunately, those people are on the hamster wheel. They don't have the clue what they're doing. They're part of the MLM social club. They're not real business builders. They're just following the leader from deal to deal. And when that happens, these companies usually peak within a couple of years, and then they stabilize for a while, followed by a downward spiral. And if you pay close attention, you can see this happen over and over again. It's been reported that in 2023, many wellness companies have hit what is now being called the slippery slope. They've gone from a downward spiral to a slippery slope, and sales volumes are projected to decline with some companies up to 30% this year. Leaders that built their team, 10 or 15 years ago are starting to feel the pinch as their checks are starting to dwindle month after month. So let's just look at some of the facts real quick, and I'll bring out a couple of companies, and I could share with you thousands or hundreds for sure. But a good example is My Daily Choice. This CBD company, exploded in 2017 as a lot of distributors from other fledgling CBD companies jumped on board. And a couple of years later, in 2019, they peaked at around $170 million in annual sales. And then the corporate leadership started buying up weak MLM products and companies that were really not going anywhere, startups that really never took off. Then they started buying up the rights to like that gas product, the gas pill, and they started promoting that for a while. And they've just done everything, just buying up these companies so they could have more products to sell to their distributors. And since that time, since they peaked, they flatlined between 170 and 180 million, and they've been there for the past 4 years and working hard, buying up as many companies as they can, trying to keep their head above water. And now they're trying to create what they're calling the Amazon of MLM products. And they're trying to convince all these MLM companies to place their products on their platform. Their platform, which again, they're calling the Amazon of MLM products. And when you really stop and think about this, is this not an indication of the stagnation within the MLM consumable products niche? I mean, if this isn't, nothing is. Everybody's volume is shrinking. So let's put your products on an Amazon type platform for MLM products, and maybe we can squeeze a few more sales out of a few more people. This is not building a business. It's radical disruption and confusion. And this confusion and disruption is at levels that the network marketing industry has never experienced. So, I think, My Daily Choice and what they've done and what they've been doing and what they're doing now is a clear indication of the state of the profession. You can look at a company like Le-Vel. Le-Vel took off like a rocket ship, mostly appealing to the traction marketing crowd, telling them a lot of things that just didn't make sense. Just because you say it does not make it true. But they hit around $450 million in 2017, and then they quickly dropped the next year by over $50 million. And for the next 5 years, they've stabilized between 400 and 420 million. And then in 2022, they hit the downward spiral, which always happens, dropping from 420 million to about 350 million. And some are saying in 2023 that their sales could drop by $100 million or more. Isogenics. Isogenics is an established, credible company that's very proud of their peer science reviews. uh, which doesn't mean anything to. It's just a Kirby with new bells and whistles to the market. That's the way they perceive it. But everybody has to have their twist, their spin on their science or their uniqueness, which means absolutely nothing to real customers. But anyway, Isogenics peaked in 2017. They never quite got to $1 billion, but they hit about $950 million in sales. And over the past 5 years, sales have dropped over 50% to around $400 million. So the downward spiral is now in full swing with Isogenics, and why any intelligent, business minded person would try to recruit somebody into that. The momentum's gone, it's over, it'll never recover. And the writing's on the wall. And it's not just for Isogenics. This is the pattern that happens with every company. You can look at Plexus Worldwide. Plexus peaked in 2017 at around $560 million. Since that time, they've trended down over $100 million and finished up 2022 at around $450 million in sales. And some project that in 2023, those numbers will drop by over $100 million just this year, mainly because of accusations of formulation product changes with cheaper ingredients and decreased in compensation plan and commission for distributors, and on and on. You look at a company like Modere. It's been reported that Modere made a sweetheart bridge money deal to a couple called the Meltons, attraction markers, who have a huge team of followers that are on the hamster wheel, that love watching this couple act like 12-year-olds on TikTok, is one of my buddies says. They just got a bunch of followers that like watching TikTok videos. But anyway, Modere exploded in 2017. And since 2019, they flatlined. They've been between $350 and $370 million over the past 4 years. Their downhill slide is inevitable. The pattern is really clear with all companies that focus on attraction marketing methods and not leadership development methods. ASI or ASIA, I don't even know how you say it. They started in 2007, peaked at $188 million in 2021, and the downhill spiral has started. Shackley, Herbalife, BeHip, LifeVantage, Melaleuca are all on a downhill trend. I could go on, but I think you get the idea. The writing is on the wall. In fact, in all my research, the only wellness company, and I could have talked about dozens more, but the only wellness company that in the last 5 years, that's at least 5 years old, that's not on a downhill trend or who hasn't flatlined, the only one is the one that I helped launch in the United States a few years ago, which is APL Go. And they've been on an uphill trend since launching in the United States. And from 2021 to 2022, they actually had a slight increase in volume from 211 million to 234 million in sales. And when they launched in the USA, I personally developed the fastest growing team in North America. However, a couple of years ago, I made the very difficult but correct decision to pivot out of APL Go, even though they were still growing. But I knew I had to get outside of the wellness industry. The writing was on the wall. I could see it all around me. I was dealing with it every day. And I made the decision to pivot into a vertical outside of the consumable products MLM niche. And it's proven to be the right decision, not just for myself. I mean, it wasn't for me when I made it. I mean, my wife and I were doing phenomenal. We were making great money, but I had to make the pivot for our team. And So it's proven over time to be the right move, not just for myself, but more importantly for our team. And at this time, let's just cut into a podcast session I recently recorded. The name of this session is called MLM Team Building Secrets, 3 Behind the Curtain Secrets that Nobody Has the Guts to Reveal. That's the name of this session. And we're going to cut into where I'm talking about my experience with APL Go, what it taught me about the wellness niche, that I truly believe that most honest, hardworking distributors and team builders are missing. They've not realized it yet. So please keep those blinders off for just a few more minutes. Let's listen in on this previously recorded podcast session, and then I'll be back with you in a few minutes to wrap things up. Those systems were the catalysts that help us get that business launched in the United States. I don't know, it's probably 3 or 4 years ago now. So everything that I'm sharing in this session comes from real world examples in a very large market size of network marketers. These programs that I just mentioned, the retail customer acquisition program and the direct outreach recruiting program, propelled us to being the fastest growing team in North America. And I was personally the number one recruiter in the world in that company my first month and my third month. And I was in the top 10 worldwide 8 of my first 12 months. And we're talking about a company that was 9 years old at the time, operating in 17 or 18 countries around the world with hundreds of thousands of distributors. So I love that company. I loved our upline, Sergi, the owner. I loved not all, but most of our sideline leaders. And we were doing extremely, extremely well, my wife and I. And making the pivot was one of the most difficult business decisions I've ever made. It was very hard, but it's proven over time to be the right one. And I made the decision not because we weren't doing well financially, my wife and I, but because I felt like our team was not progressing at the level that they deserved to be progressing. Yes, they were progressing, but not at the level that I felt like they deserved. And I want you to really diagnose what I just said. I mean, because I'm talking to many of you. There's some of you here that, financially you're doing well, but look at the people on your team. Look at your key people. Well, Dale, they went on a free vacation last year. Well, we all know how that works. The company gives you a free vacation instead of paying you the money. You're not making any money. I mean, there's people that are going on company paid trips every year throughout this profession that can't even afford the meals while they're on the vacation. And you know that, and I know that. So, I mean, you can look at it however you want to look at it, but we got to look at it truthfully and where the rubber hits the road. I mean, we have to. We have to. And, it's not about you. It's ultimately about, helping other people get what they want, as Zig told us. So, anyway, I learned a lot from this experience, and I logged these three secrets in stone in my heart and in my mind, and I will never doubt them the rest of my career. As long as I'm responsible for leading teams, these foundational principles will never leave. And you owe it to always do what's best for your team, regardless of what it means to you financially at the time, because it will all come back to you. I know that. I had a poster that hung in my office in my home for many years when I started with the Shackley Corporation. It was a huge frame poster by Dr. Forrest Shackley that said, you keep that which you give away. You keep that which you give away. And wise words. There's a verse in the Bible that says, he who wishes to be great, let them be the servant to many. So Zig ingrained in my brain early in my career as a 20-year-old snot-nosed kid. You can have anything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want. And that's just never left me. So I'm going to share with you the three secrets. They're not going to be easy to take, but they are absolutely positively, you can take them to the bank. And again, I'm talking to people that want to seriously want to build the network marketing team that they've always dreamed of, something they can be proud of, a great business with phenomenal customers, where the real goal, the real dream that people enter this profession for, so they can quit their full-time job if they want, go on and develop a 250,000 plus income and even become a millionaire, because it is possible today. Uh, the number one thing that people need to understand, and the number one thing that my experience with APL Go confirmed, was a concern I had honestly going in. And the number one thing that I realized from that experience was the nutritional supplement MLM niche. It's Blockbuster. It's Blockbuster. It's over, but people just don't realize it yet. Even though we had the most unique category creating product in the industry, in the wellness industry, based upon Earl Mendel's negative ion technology. And yes, I'm talking about the guy that wrote the Vitamin Bible. He was the author of the Vitamin Bible, that Earl Mendel. And this product was based upon his latest book, The Happiness Effect, and negative ion technology. And even though we had all that going for us, and it was a very successful business that was launching in the United States, which had never really happened before. Usually companies launch in the US and then they expand around the world. This company already had six-figure monthly earners when they came to the United States. I mean, all that experience did was confirm to me that the market does not care about the science behind your product. The wellness, consumable products, MLM niche, it's burnout and it's never going to recover. And if you do the research, you can see that the consumable products MLM niche has been on a downward spiral for the past 5 years. And quite frankly, 2023, many of these companies hit what I would call the slippery slope down. Just today, I had somebody send me a message, and they said, Mr. Calvin, when you stop chasing shiny objects, Mr. Calvin, when you stop chasing shiny objects and you want to join a real legacy wellness company, let me know. And I felt like emailing the guy back and saying, my latest shiny object, young man, I made over $1 million in commissions in the past 9 months. In the past 9 months, I've made over $1 million. And more importantly, I will have between 30 and 100 people on my personal team in 2023 that will make over $100,000 in commissions, several between $200 and $500,000, some even more. And I felt like saying this, but I did refrain. And I simply said, I appreciate your advice, but if you saw the box video, and for those of you that don't know what that is, themlmbox.com. I said, but if you saw the box video, did it say anything about a legacy wellness company? No, it didn't, because the market does not care. The market doesn't care that you're a legacy company. You're going to hear. Yeah, and I said, look, no, it didn't, because the market didn't care. You're going to hear more about the opportunity I shared with you. When you're ready to do your due diligence, let me know. And that was the end of it. But this type of smug attitude from people that built their business 20 years ago and have no regards for the fact that they're just throwing new members to the wolves, and letting them fail. because they know they don't have a chance, it is something that I just don't understand. I don't understand how you can continue to recruit people and then throw them to a market that you know is going to eat them up and spit them out. They know that new team members with little or no success or experience don't have a chance in today's marketing environment attempting to build a business really with LifeVantage or Melaleuca or Shackley or USANA or you name the legacy company. It doesn't matter. The attempt to act like everything is wonderful as their once obnoxious paychecks slowly start dwindling away, it blows my mind. They sit there back in their ivory tower that was built 20 years ago, watching everything just kind of slip away and are stagnant. They don't know what to do about it or don't have the guts to even make a move or even think about making a move. And that's the truth. Every experienced marketer listening to this session knows it. They have to know that the writing's on the wall. I mean, don't they? Don't they? I mean, it is near impossible to start from scratch today and build a significant team with any consumable product MLM company. And if I'm talking to you and you're attempting to accomplish the impossible, which many of you are, you know it. You know it. I mean, you can put your head in the sand and say, "Well, that's not true." But the stats, the charts, the numbers don't lie. There's no emotion in numbers, and the numbers speak for themselves. Look at your company. Look at your company, really. In the past 3 years, what newbies have entered with no network marketing background or some, maybe a little bit, but no success, other than the 3%ers. And 3%ers are people that had, maybe they're experts at SEO, or maybe they had a huge social media following when they joined or whatever. I mean, a huge social media following. But look at the people that joined the last 3 years. Normal people, average people with above average desire, who has created any traction that didn't have something that most people don't have when they came in. What average person with above average desire in your company in the last 3 years create any type of traction at all? We all know it's a revolving door. Most people join, they're excited, they're fired up, and in 90 days, you can't find them. They join, they're fired up, they're excited. You throw them to the wolves with your legacy MLM company or your consumable products MLM opportunity, and in 90 days, you can't find them. It shouldn't be that way. I mean, let me say it again. It does not have to be that way, and it shouldn't be that way. And it's not because they are not good people, honest people, hardworking, credible, trustworthy, that they can't communicate or anything like that. It's not because they didn't have a belief in the product. I mean, if average people with above average desire, what I call 27%ers, find it impossible to create progress and momentum in your company, there's a problem. There's a problem. If average people with above average desire get involved with your company and cannot progress, there's a problem. Want the truth? You want the real truth? Look at your own team. Look at the number of people who have entered your revolving door over the past 6 months, over the past year, in one door, out the other. And leaders find themselves in a situation where they're just trying to make sure there's more new people getting involved than old people falling off auto ship. That's not a business, guys. No wonder people get burnt out and quit this industry. Okay, I get it. I understand it. But what's the real challenge here? The real challenge here is the market. Customers do not care. The market has been dealing with untrained network marketers for the past 50 years. trying to convince them to change brands or sell them some never before seen wellness product or trying to get them into buying their biodegradable household products so they, if they really love their family, are trying this new one of a kind skincare product. And travel, oh my gosh, travel, I mean, do your research. Dozens of travel companies have come and gone over the years, and only a couple have made a significant dent in the marketplace. And that would be YTB from several years ago and World Ventures, and both of them are out of business. It's not that you're not with a good company. It's not that you don't have above average products or even remarkable products. If you truly want to fulfill your upside potential and network with the network marketing business model and build a business that you can be proud of, you must accept the fact that you will never fulfill your full upside potential with a consumable products company. The market is dead, burnt out, done with it, over. It's Blockbuster. It's Blockbuster. When we consider joining a company, one of the first questions I ask myself is, who are the customers for the product or the service? And do they really want to know more? Who are the customers, and do they really want to know more? And if you say, well, Dale, our customers are everybody, then I can promise you they don't want to know more. I promise you, they could care less. They do not care. They are tired of hearing the story. It's a very simple question. Simple answers are hard to come by for some reason. Do they really want to know more? Simple question, simple answer. But for some reason, most consumable product network marketing distributors are not able to answer that question truthfully for themselves. Do they own self be true? Who is the market? Who is the market? Who are the customers for the products? Do they really have a desire to learn more, to know more? Guys, that's the challenge today. And I get it. I mean, I started my career with the Shackley Corporation. It was very hard for me and many others to accept the fact that the market for consumable products in the network marketing niche is dying, and it's never going to recover, and it will never be what it once was. So secret number one is you cannot be involved with a consumable products company. And we're talking biodegradable household products, skincare, CBD, essential oils, and by all means, any wellness products. And if you're listening and you've decided to keep a neutral mindset here in this training, thanks for keeping that neutral mindset. And I promise you it's going to become more difficult because unfortunately, the other two behind the secrets behind the curtain success secrets that nobody else is going to tell you about goes 100% against mainstream MLM best practices, and they're not going to be any easier to hear, unfortunately. But let's get into them. I really don't know what else I can share, ladies and gentlemen. If you'd like to listen to this session in its entirety, I'll leave a link in the description. Again, it's called MLM Team Building Secrets, 3 Behind the Curtain Secrets Nobody Has the Guts to Reveal. I want to thank you for your attention. Your time is the most valuable asset you have, and it's my sincere hope that something I've shared with you will encourage you to get back with the person that shared this session with you and do your due diligence on the Collect Direct opportunity and gain an insight and understanding as to why many leaders have made the pivot into what we all know will be the last team they ever build and the last company that they ever join. I'll just end by saying this. If you're ever going to make the pivot, Now, right now is the time. This is the opportunity, and we are the team. Our franchise building team system is documented with story after story of people that we've been able to help off the MLM hamster wheel and plug into a system that will help maximize their upside leadership and income potential. And we're so proud of that. I mean, I could tell you story after story, but I will mention one real quick. Kamala Robinson was with It Works for 11 years. 11 years it works. Blinders on, focused. She never made over $300 in a month. She's had months with us this year where she's made over $20,000. And see, I know and you know that you have people on your team that deserve that type of success. And the only way it's going to happen is if you have the courage to pivot. And that's the truth. You know, the systems are in place with what we're doing. The category creating collectibles niche speaks for itself. You don't have to develop the systems for customer acquisition, for recruiting new team members. They're all here and they work. It's just a matter of plugging in and riding this wave that we both know is coming. If you're an experienced leader, you know we've tapped into a niche. You know the wave is coming. Again, my name is Dale Calvert. I look forward to speaking with you and shaking your hand in the near future. Please don't procrastinate. Request the due diligence website. And yes, we have a due diligence website. We have one set up for you. Request it from the person that shared this session with you. And I look forward to meeting you in the near future. God bless. Have an awesome day, night, wherever you are in the world.
Did you enjoy this story? Then you will probably enjoy some of the other sessions of this podcast. You can visit MLMsuccess.com and see a full playlist of the podcast since the day we started. Would you like to put some faces with the voices? Then search for Dale Calvert MLM Success Podcast on YouTube and follow us there. Please leave a comment on YouTube and let our special guests know how their story inspired you or affected you. Dale spends most of his social media time in private groups he has founded, but you can follow his public Facebook page at facebook.com/Dale Calvert page. And of course, your comments and feedback on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you access this podcast is always appreciated. Thanks for listening, and we will be back next week and share with you another real success story that is happening right now in this new era of wealth creation that most still don't know exist. Yet.